Andrew?
Well, of course, this all kicked off in August with these fuel price hikes, and as your other guest mentioned, these what seemingly are small problems really spark the kind of underlying tensions in society. In terms of organization and direction, these kinds of mass movements really are having a direction of their own that's really impossible to tell. It's also very, very difficult to get reliable information from the ground, as journalists are finding out, as our own organizations finding out. There's an enormous amount of speculation and there's an enormous amount of delay in when we're receiving information, when we're receiving new footage. So that makes the situation very difficult to predict and very difficult to understand just exactly who's running the show, if indeed anyone is.
All right, indeed, a very difficult situation there for journalists to operate in. Mr. Kusoy, what prompted the monks to step in? I mean, it started with student protests angry about price hikes. What prompted the monks to get involved?
I think the monks have been the keepers of the soul of Burma, so to say, because since the days of the kings of Burma, they were advisors, they were to the king, they were advisors to the kings, and they also acted as a role of educator and also judge of the society. And so when they saw these unfair activities from the generals, it's impossible for them to just sit in the monasteries and just watch the sufferings of the people. And it seems that it's a bit paradoxical that Buddhist teaching suffering is part of humanity, but the way they see it is they are the leader of the community, and if something wrong's happening in the country, they must lead the people, they must sacrifice themselves, because in the end, their acolytes or their Buddhist followers are the ones who feed them, and they feel a sense of responsibility. So you can see throughout the history of Burma, Buddhist monks have been very important in supporting and the people in general, and they are doing exactly the same now. And I don't think that they will just give up whatever the generals trying to do to them. And they have this, destroying the monks, I think, would be destroying Burma itself.
Well, in
so
light of that, in a sense, has a red line been crossed with the use of violence against them?
I think so, especially the commanders. They know that they are taking a decision, or they have taken a decision to really go beyond what has never been done before, or since 1988, is to really confront the monks who really hold the moral control over the country. But it is not a be-all and end-all situation. I don't think so, because both sides have their own power, and if they know what their capabilities or their limits, I think that would be the best for the country, I think.
All right, Mr. Ween, we're talking about the monks now commanding the moral authority. You spoke earlier about how there isn't a clear leader. Where is all that leaving the politicians, the political parties? In a sense, have people like Aung San Suu Kyi been sidestepped by all of this action?
I think, of course, there is leaders in the opposition democracy movement like Aung San Suu Kyi and her political parties. But this is not opposition political movement. This is just a movement of the people who have been suffering under disability repression. And we look at the demands of the demonstrators. There are three demands. Number one, to improve livelihood of the people. Number two, to release all the political prisoners, including Aung San Suu Kyi, of course. Number three, for the national reconciliation, it means dialogue between opposition and the government. All these demands are not a political agenda. That is national agenda. That is affecting everybody. So I say that this movement is not initiated by any particular leader. This is just a people's movement.
All right, do stay with us. It is time now for a short break, but when we come back, we'll talk about why the international community remains divided over Myanmar. Stay with us.